Arcade machines are great. They're a reminder of days gone by and a towering testament of the definitive way to experience some of the most iconic games ever produced. When you feel the urge to purchase your first machine, you may find yourself asking what game is deserving of that type of real estate in your home. The good news is, you don't often have to settle for just one. My first arcade machine was, of course, the Neo Geo MVS. This was primarily due to the love and fascination with SNK, but I also knew that in buying one I wasn't isolating myself to just one game. I could easily swap carts in and out. What I didn't realize at the time was that switching games could be easily done on a number of other machines as well, and without disconnecting the internal boards. Think of it this way. Many arcade series consist of a multi-PCB board setup. One of those boards generally serves as your console, like a Nintendo, and the other board is the actual game, just like a cartridge. Now let's draw another parallel. Many of you are aware of the awesome Everdrives put out by Krikzz. What if you had something like an Everdrive for that secondary PCB arcade board? I'm going to grossly ignore a lot of technicalities with this, but I'll broadly state that this is essentially what Darksoft has created with his CPS2 MultiKit. It's an arcade Everdrive. I think it's important to compare this to an Everdrive because you are getting a genuine arcade experience once the game is loaded. With this kit, you are able to run original encrypted ROMs on original hardware. This is as genuine as having the original boards, only you don't have to swap them out each time, and you don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to assemble a collection of CPS2 games. This is a list of recently sold listings for B-boards. You'll note some great titles on this list. The CPS2 line continues the Street Fighter II series with Super and Super Turbo. Other great hits include Alien vs. Predator, the Darkstalkers series, Armored Warriors, the start of the Versus series of games, the Alpha games, Giga Wing, Mars Matrix, and several others. This is a desirable but expensive collection to assemble if you decide to chase down original boards. With this kit, however, you don't have to if you are simply looking to play these games. So I also feel the need to call this out as a genuine experience because this is not emulation or some type of multi-cart. I'm mostly thinking of the Pandora's Box that is a quick and dirty setup, but which is ultimately just Final Burn Alpha, emulating games and then outing them over the JAMA edge. This is a personal opinion, but I bought the arcades so I could have an authentic arcade experience, not to emulate games. Alright, so let's get this set up. What do you ultimately need other than an arcade machine or a super gun? You need a working A board, which is your console, remember, and a working B board, your game. The socketed ROM chips come off of the B board and your multi-kit is then installed here. The kit kind of cannibalizes the B board, for lack of a better term. You'll connect two boards and also need to set or short a few jumpers. Once set up and configured, you'll want to grab an encrypted ROM set of CPS2 games and dump them to an SD card. Again, just like an Everdrive. I also took this opportunity to rehab a few other things. For one, the original case fan on the A board had a terrible sound to it. I found a replacement that was supposedly quiet and installed that. Well, it's still not silent, but it's way better than it was with the stock fan. I also decided to rehab the shell that covers the B board. This was in pretty terrible condition, scratched, faded, and even a crack. I used a heat gun to remove the factory stickers. I then sanded the entire board, and finally I used Nova's scratch remover to smooth everything over. Once that was done, I used some super glue gel to fill a small crack and then sanded and smoothed this spot over as well. Once complete, I decided I wanted to paint the board to truly give it a facelift. I didn't want to use one of the factory colors. I wanted this to stand out as something different and unique. So I picked up a grape metallic that seemed like it would go well with the included Darksoft sticker colors. I applied 2 coats, and once dry, was pretty pleased with the results. Overall, I think this turned out great, especially for something that will live 99% of its life inside an arcade cabinet and never be seen by anyone. The last thing I want to call attention to is the LCD that the kit comes with. It's bare, and this kit and the boards are far too expensive to just have that flopping around inside the cabinet or control panel. 16-Bit District sells a really nice 3D printed case for the LCD. It's a tight fit and protects the LCD well. I also picked up an extended cable for the LCD, which allows me to keep it under the control panel and to keep me from having to open up the cabinet and dig around inside to switch games. So conveniently enough, the CPS2 board slides right in next to my CPS3, which is also a multi-setup, and we are off and running. The flash times for the games are really fast, probably fewer than 30 seconds to switch between games. After you load a game, it will auto reset the board so the game starts immediately. Since the game is being written to the MultiKit's memory, it stays there, meaning when you shut down and then power back up, the same game is loaded. You don't have to go through this process again. Overall though, it is really easy to switch between games. A few button clicks, select the game you want, press enter, and the game loads within 30 seconds. And now I'll just show you a variety of some of the games that I've loaded and played. Keep in mind there's no great direct capture method that I have set up for the arcade, so I'm essentially just filming the screen, but you guys kind of get the idea. So in summary, the Darksoft CPS2 MultiKit is almost a must-buy for anybody that loves Capcom games, has a JAMA arcade cabinet in their house, or a super gun. It's truly a fantastic way to access all of these games without having to pony up hundreds of dollars per game for the CPS2 lineup. If you have any questions, guys, please feel free to ask them in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.